Good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, or whatever time zone you happen to be at this moment. I want to welcome you all to this very important meeting that we are all experiencing here today. Many times we go to many meetings, but I can assure you all, this particular meeting that we are undertaking on this day in these moments is of great importance to the world of youth and to the world of the church. I want to thank, above all, Archbishop Jose Ulloa of Panama for all his hard work, together with all the bishops of Central America who participated in making the Encounter World Youth Day such an important and such a fruitful event as we had. I also wish to thank the Patriarch of Portugal, of Lisbon, His Eminence Cardinal Clemente, who is the host for the next World Youth Day. We meet today thanks to the great gift that science has given us through this medium of social media. Were it not for that, we would probably meet here in Rome, and I know many of you would have enjoyed traveling to Rome for this occasion. However, we live in a very important and very tragic in many ways time. It is a new moment in the history of our world. It is a new moment also in the history of our church and the history of each one of us who are here today. The pandemic has certainly changed our lives. It has changed the way we think. It has changed the way we act. And the world as we knew it in the past is no longer in existence. Today, we suffer because of many lockdowns, shutdowns, whatever the word is in your part of the world. But yet it affects us all. We can no longer encounter each other. We can no longer speak to each other directly. We can no longer have gatherings. Churches are closed. The sacraments are not regularly available. And people find themselves lonely, lost, afraid. And so we ask the Holy Spirit today in this meeting to all give us the fortitude to continue our life. But to all of us, this is a particular moment when we begin anew. We thank God for having given to us the great gift of Panama. And now we turn our focus to Lisbon. I say that this is an important event that we are undertaking today. Why? Because it is the preparation for a new moment also in the life of the church. A moment that will change the church and change the world we live in. And it is a moment of young people. I would hope that each one of us will strive to the best of our abilities to bring back that great spirit that we experienced in Panama, that we experienced in the Synod of Young People, that we experience in so many ways, and that once again, we will initiate our world of youth ministry. People say to me many times, well, what is going to make it different? What it is going to change is each one of us. We are the ones that are going to change. We are the ones that have to look forward to Panama as a new beginning, a new moment, new wine and new wineskins. That is what we are called to do today. I think back and I think of when Pope Francis was elected. It was certainly, and as said by great historians and people, a prophetic moment for the life of the church. We think of how Pope Francis has prepared the young people in the church for this particular moment. We know that he first published the apostolic letter, Evangelium Gaudi, or the joy of the gospel. And he taught us a way of listening to Jesus Christ and to living the reality of Jesus Christ in our own lives each day. This is the peace, this is the joy that we need to bring back into our world once again. Afterwards, he convened a synod of young people, the first ever synod dedicated to the young people. And I recall in the synod hall when it was supposed to have been just the bishops talking, well, all the young people made their voices heard, whether legally or illegally, according to the rules of the synod. But yet their voice was heard, and Pope Francis was more interested in what they said. And that is why he wrote the famous exhortation at the end of the synod, Christus vivit. Christ lives in our world today. And there he taught us how Christ lives and what Christ wants us to do. And finally, in recent days, he has written an encyclical letter to the whole world called Fratelli Tutti. We are all brothers and sisters, and the great lesson that we have to learn is that we are all must, no matter who we are or what we must live what's in the gospel. Jesus did not care whether it was a Samaritan, whether it was a person of Jewish faith, whether it was a pagan, non-believer, whether it was a Roman or a non-Roman. Jesus didn't care. He only saw the human person. And today, that's the message that Pope Francis is giving to each one of us. I bring you all this and I speak to this because 4 years ago, I remember when Pope Francis decided on what the theme for our World Youth Day was. Young man, rise up. They were the words that he used. They are the words that we use to each and every one of you today. We have to show the world that we are alive, that we are well, we are full of the peace and the joy of understanding and living the message of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And that's what the World Youth Day is all about. How many of us have experienced the joy and the sensation of closeness, not only to God, but to one another during those days? Let us focus on Lisbon. Let us give thanks to God for Panama. But let us now begin again. The youth of the world must come together once again and show the whole world. Remember, up to this moment, we have all been in lockdown for almost 1 year. It'll take another year and maybe a little longer. But Lisbon is going to be the greatest, and Lisbon is going to be the moment when the church and the world comes back to life again. We must be those missionary disciples that once again instills in the whole world that great spirit of Christ himself. So I thank you all for expressing your ideas, for analyzing what has gone on in the past, and for looking forward to the future. And please God, we will all meet again in Lisbon for the World Youth Day, the Universal World Youth Day. It is so important, so urgently needed for the life of the church. So let us ask the Holy Spirit to guide us and to prepare us for this great moment that we will experience. Thank you, and may God bless you all.